And I started looking at the most popular data sets and I started saying, I think I'm seeing where the problem is coming from. So I would look at a gold standard benchmark, right? This is the one we're using to judge progress in the field. Over 70% male, 80% lighter skinned individuals.
This is Pioneers of AI. Technology is meant to be the great equalizer, bringing access and opportunity to everyone. But if the computer systems we built can't even see us, we're just reproducing the same inequities that already exist. As a computer scientist, Dr. Joy wanted to get to the root of this coded bias. How is this happening and how widespread was it?
So this is engineer hat comes on.
Yep.
What's going on? Let's debug it. Let's figure out what's happening. And so this led down a whole exploration where I started looking at a little bit of how we even train machines to detect human faces. And so it turned out they were using this concept of machine learning, right? So let's provide a data set of examples of faces and use that as a way of training an AI system to detect a human face. So I started looking at those data sets and I started looking at the most popular data sets and I started saying, I think I'm seeing where the problem is coming from. So I would look at a gold standard benchmark, right? This is the one we're using to judge progress in the field. Over 70% male, 80% lighter skinned individuals. And then I would look and I was like, oh, and they're taking it from images of public figures.
Right.
And oftentimes politicians. So I was starting to see what I was calling power shadows. So you have the power shadow of the patriarchy, right? When you look at women's representation when it comes to political positions, you tend to be in the 30% or less zone. So that men were showing up 70% or more in these data sets wasn't too surprising once you start considering the source. Similarly, when you're looking at the prevalence of lighter skinned individuals, even though the majority of people on Earth would be classified as people of color, who's more likely to have their photos available online?
Right.
And then there was another technical piece about it. So for computer scientists to collect large sets of data, we ain't got time and we're lazy. So what we're going to usually do is run some kind of automated system.
To scrape data off the internet, basically, right?
Absolutely. And so to get face data sets, people would create face detectors. That way you're not scraping every image, just the image that has a face, but a face that has been detected. So I also found out that the face detectors themselves were especially more likely to fail on darker skinned faces. And then, scientists had, okay, let's run an experiment. 1 of 1 is not enough to make a generalized conclusion.
Right.
So that's what led to my research.
Again, I think that's a very important concept. The training data is really important, and it's not just the quantity of the data, but the diversity of the examples you're using in the training data set, whatever problem you're solving with machine learning. But it's also the validation. It's what we're testing on, right?
Absolutely.
Because if it's not representative of humanity and people who are going to be using the system, it's going to end up being biased.
We're here to make a planet. Can't nobody stop. Everyone turn on your facial recognition block. We're here to make a planet. Can't nobody stop. Everyone turn on your facial recognition block.